Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Addod Solutions Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Pengonda. This session is designed for aspirants preparing for banking, groups and such other competitive examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express. Make use of this session. First, we have an article dealing with the postponement of MLC elections that are scheduled to take place in the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So we'll see about the MLCs in this session. MLCs stands for Members of Legislative Councils. In India, we know that we have a parliament and the parliament has two houses, which is the Lok Sabha and the House of Rajya Sabha. Similarly, even a state can have two houses, that is the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Councils. Every state will mandatorily have Legislative Assembly, which is the law-making body of the state. So, the members of this Legislative Assemblies are called MLAs, that is Members of Legislative Assemblies. Similarly, if a state have a Legislative Council, which is an optional upper house of the state, then it will also have members and the members will be called as members of legislative councils. So this is how you have MLAs and this is how you have MLCs. And there are only 6 states in the country as of now which have the second house for their respective states. So what are the 6 states that have the legislative councils? These are the state of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and the state of Maharashtra. And you have to remember that most of the MLAs are elected. I am saying the term most of the MLAs elected, whereas some of the MLAs are nominated. But in the case of MLAs, that is members of legislative assemblies, they are entirely elected by the people. So this is the difference between the MLAs and the MLCs. Next, we have an article dealing with foreign countries providing help to India. As we know that India has helped various countries when they are facing COVID-19 and the COVID pandemic. These countries are returning the favor by providing medical equipment and other raw materials that India would require to fight this deadly pandemic. And in the news articles, we can see several countries such as Finland, Greece and Sweden either providing help or trying to provide help in the near future. So we'll see where these countries are. First, we'll see the country of Sweden. Sweden, you can see, is a European continent's country and the capital of Sweden is Stockholm. And there is the usage of the word Finland. So we'll see Finland. Finland is a neighbor of Sweden and the Finland's capital is Helsinki. And also the country Greece was mentioned in this article. So we'll see what's the capital of Greece. The capital is Athens. Next, we have an article where the Paraguay's ambassador to India is talking about the relationship between Paraguay and the country of India. So we'll just see where Paraguay is. Paraguay, as you can see in this image, is a South American country and it borders countries such as Bolivia, Brazil and Argentina. And you can also see it is a landlocked country. The capital of Paraguay is Ascension. Next, we have an article where it is stated that Korean fishermen are suing Japan over Fukushima. So we'll see about this article now. We know that in the year 2011 there was a huge earthquake and there was huge tsunami near the coastal areas of Japan, and as a result of this earthquake and tsunami, the Fukushima nuclear reactor, you can see in this image, was greatly damaged, and Due to the damage of this Fukushima nuclear reactor, it emitted several radioactive elements, and due to this many people has lost their lives. And nearly 10 years after this destruction of Fukushima nuclear reactor, the nuclear reactor water which was used for this plant is planned to be released by the country of Japan. So we have the Fukushima nuclear reactor in the country of Japan, and this was destroyed mostly in the year 2011. But the contaminated water that was used in this nuclear reactor is planned to be released in the coastal areas of Japan, and this is not acceptable to the people of Korea and to the people of China. Why? Because Japan lies near to the countries of China and near the countries of South Korea. So the fishermen of these countries are suing the Japan because they feel that due to the release of this contaminated nuclear water into the ocean of the Japan, it might lead to harming the fish. So if the fish is harmed, the fisherman's livelihood will be greatly affected. And due to this reason, several Korean fishermen are suing the country of Japan. Next, we have an article talking about a scheme called as special window for affordable and middle income housing. So you can see the scheme, special window for affordable and middle income housing. This is a union government scheme, and this is to provide last mile funding. So this is to provide last mile funding. What do you mean by last mile funding? So let's say there is a real estate firm A, and this real estate firm has started construction of 300 flats apartment. So they started a 300 flats apartment in a city, and let's assume that this real estate firm would need 100 crores to construct this 300 apartments flat. But later, after constructing 75-80%, the real estate firm A might not have the enough resources. So let's say 100 crores is the total cost of this project. But after spending 80 or 85 crores, the real estate firm A might not have other resources to complete this project. So what would be the effect? As it is not completed properly, the buyers who have gave advances would not pay the entire amount, and they cannot shift to the new flats. And as the firm A has already invested 80 or 85 crores, if they does not complete this project, they would not get the money they have invested. So everyone is negatively affected, and as this got struck in between, the laborers also would not get a job. So what the government will do is, the government will loan this additional or this remaining 10 to 15 crores to the firm A, so that the apartment can be constructed. And once the apartment is constructed, the buyers will pay the remaining amount, and the remaining amount could be used by firm A to repay back the loan. So in this case, the government is providing a loan so that the buyers would be benefited, the laborers would be benefited, and the real estate firm also would benefit. And for the first time, the firm has given or has completed a scheme. So it has provided loan to a particular real estate firm, and it has delivered the apartments or it has delivered the flats. This is regarding the special window for affordable and middle income housing. Next, we have an article dealing with the World Bank 2020 report, and this report is regarding the remittances. We know that several Indians work in abroad. They work in America, they work in Gulf countries, and they even work in European continent, and they work for a small period of time and when they are working there, they will earn something, and of the amount they are earning, they will send a major portion to the households. So let's say there is person A who is belonging to the state of Uttar Pradesh has went to Saudi Arabia, and he has worked as a worker in the Saudi Arabia. After working for 1 year or working for 1 month, he might get 100 rupees. What he will do? He will keep 10 rupees with him, and he will send remaining 90 rupees to the family who are living in the state of Uttar Pradesh. This is called remittances. That is, the money they are earning are sent back to the country they originally belong to. So, in the image you can see how much money we are earning through remittances in the year 2020. In the year 2020, India has earned $83 billion as remittances, and by earning $83 billion, India has occupied the top position, the top or the first position in the remittances receiving country. The World Bank is stating that the $83 billion is less than the amount Indians have sent back their homes in 2019. So it is stated that 2% has reduced when we compare to 2019. So in 2019, more than $83 billion was sent by people who are of Indian origin and who are Indians but worked in abroad but sent money back to their families. And we'll also see the top 5 nations apart from India. First is the India, second is China, third is Mexico, fourth is Philippines, fifth is Egypt. So these are the countries which are in the top 5 positions when it comes to remittances receiving countries as per World Bank 2020 report. Next we have an article dealing with a task force which is set up by the state of Karnataka. Last year we have seen the COVID's first wave, and at the peak of it we have seen 30,000 cases a day of COVID-19 or the COVID, and in the second wave we have seen every day 4 lakh cases at the peak, and there are experts who are stating that we'll face more waves in the coming months. So we have seen the first and the second wave, later we'll see the third, fourth and so on. So to tackle the coming third wave of COVID-19, the state of Karnataka has set up a task force, and this task force was headed by noted doctor Mr. Devi Shetty. So in the image you can see Mr. Devi Shetty. So Mr. Devi Shetty is appointed as the head of the task force of third wave related COVID by state of Karnataka. Next we have an article dealing with China's anti-food bill, anti-food wastage bill. We know how China is an authoritarian country, and we know how China will try to enforce strict laws on everything it feels, no matter what people think so. And recently the Chinese government has brought the anti-food wastage bill. So what is the significance of this bill? If a diner orders more food and if he is wasting any food, then he would face a penalty. Let's say there is person A. Person A has went to a restaurant and he has ordered 2 plates of food, and after eating 1 plate or after eating 1.5 plate, he leaves the rest. So the other part will be wastage. As he is wasting food, he would be fined. This is the features of this bill. So if a diner is wasting some food, then some penalty would be imposed on that person. And also this anti-food wastage bill has prohibited the binge food watching videos. So it has prohibited the binge eating videos. Binge eating videos. So what are these binge eating videos? We see every now and then in YouTube and in other social media platforms where a single person try to eat many food pieces or many foods. So there are videos where a single person try to eat as much food as possible. This is called as binge eating, and these binge eating videos are also called as mukbang. So these are famously called as mukbang. Even these videos are prohibited in the country of China, and if a person makes this binge eating videos and if he uploads in any social media platform, he would also be penalized. So this is the new anti-food wastage bill that is brought by the country China. Next we have an article where India has retained its top position in the ICC rankings. So we'll see about this article now. India in the year 2020 has retained its top position in the world test team rankings. Now we'll see about the ICC. ICC stands for International Cricket Council. International Cricket Council. But earlier this International Cricket Council was called as Imperial Cricket Conference. And this Imperial Cricket Conference was set up way back in 1909. And earlier its headquarters is London. So earlier headquarters is London, whereas from the last 10 years its headquarters is in Dubai, which is the capital of United Arab Emirates. So International Cricket Council's original name or the earlier name is Imperial Cricket Conference, and this was set up in 1909 and its original headquarters was London, and later this headquarters has been moved to the city of Dubai, which is a capital of United Arab Emirates. Next we have an article which is talking about US slider turtles. So in the image you can see the turtle. These turtles are majorly found in and around the North American continent. So that is the United States, Canada and Mexico, and these turtles are currently being found in the northeastern parts of the country as well. So these are not original inhabitants to India, and these are invasive species. So what do you mean by invasive species? First, these species are not native to the country or to the part, and next is these species harm negatively the environment it is living. So it will harm negatively other living organisms which are living in that area. So let's say we have this US slider turtle. When you have US slider turtles in a river or in a lake, these turtles consume more food. So it consumes more food. As it is consuming more food, other turtles might not have enough food. So other turtles which are native to the country might die. So this is why these US slider turtles are posing a threat. So this is why they are categorized as a threat to the northeastern part of the country, and it is stated that this pet could negatively affect 29 native turtles that are found in the northeastern part of the country. So what you have to remember from this article is US slider turtles are not natives to India and they are a threat and they are invasive species. Next we have an article talking about the vulnerable tribes infected. So we have seen how in the state of Odisha and how in the state of Chhattisgarh the number of COVID cases are increasing day by day, and in these states many particularly vulnerable tribal groups live. So we'll see what are these particularly vulnerable tribal groups. In India we have tribals, that is the scheduled tribes. So in India the population of the scheduled tribes in the country is nearly 8.6%, and within these tribes there are some tribes which are even more backward and which are even more socially and educationally backward. So the tribes which are even more backward compared to other tribes are categorized as particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And Dongriya Kond, which is a tribe which is mentioned here, is also a part of this particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So how many tribal groups are categorized as PVTGs? There are 75 tribes which are categorized in this regard. And which state has the highest tribes which are categorized as PVTGs? The state of Odisha has the highest number of tribes from the PVTGs. So with this we have covered the news articles of both the 14th of May and the 15th of May. We have come to the end of this session. Inform about Addod's initiative to your other aspirant friends. Thank you.
Addod Solutions. Add-on Desires.